So here we have a Ventrac 4100. I don't know what to call it, whether it's a lawnmower or a snowblower or a little bulldozer or what. Pretty neat machine. Articulating in the middle, built like a tank, weighs a ton, barely ever gets stuck. This is the choice for cleaning out chicken barns and turkey barns and that, so that's where it's from. Needs a little love, including the belt and the mower. We've got an arm here that's busted lifting up the deck, so I'll show you how to fix that. Now this shaft is what drives the belt, and what happened was the pulley keeps popping off, and the shaft itself is in good shape. The bearing still fits tight. The bearing sits right here, not here, and the keyway is nice and clean still. But if you do run into an issue where the keyway is peened over, as soon as you say industrial machine, everything's really expensive. So you can bring this shaft to a machine shop and they can use a broach set to put a new keyway in here, and that shaft will be good as new. And to top it off, the original pulley has one Allen key that pushes down on the keyway here, but to make it stronger, just drill a 1964 hole in there and add another Allen. Tap it with a 5/16 coarse thread, get a little Allen, and what that does is push it in two different directions and really keeps that pulley on a lot tighter. And then put the belt back on again. If you do take the belt off, take a picture. You got your phone. It is pretty complicated. Around the pulley, through these handles, around, it twists, it comes around, goes around again. So just use the technology that's available to you. And we'll get going on the machine. We'll service the full machine and show you how to fix that arm on a budget and make it better than factory. And by the time you drive to the store to go pick it up, you can have it good as new. So here we go. So this is where the piston connects to, and it pulls up on it. Problem is there's only one piston that raises and lowers it. So this arm gets a beating, whereas this kind of just follows along. Millions of dollars for this piece. So what it is these two ears are actually welded over top of that other piece here, and you can see it's been welded before with no luck. So what we're gonna do is just cut this off and then trace these pieces on some thicker steel and then weld them on top. Now the one has an angle on it, the one is straight, so we'll have to bend one in the press, leave one straight, and then drill the hole to make sure we line up 100%. So here we go. So what I did was just take some brake line and shove it through the holes, the only thing long enough, it's skinny enough to go through, and then put the bushing for the piston at the top. That's the right distance for the top, and then this socket was the same width as this bushing, so shove that in there to space that out, and then squeeze it together at the bottom where it surrounds this. Now I can take my welder and weld that. We can tack it, put it on, see if it fits. Doesn't really matter though. I measured my height from here to here to make sure that the height's right, and then you can just eye it up and make sure that it's in line with the bar underneath. Really there's nothing else, because this is just the shock or the spring that helps lift it, and then this is the piston that actually lifts it. This needs to be perfectly in line with this so it picks the deck up even, but this isn't super critical. So actually I'm not going to test it, I'm just going to weld it back on. I'm confident in that. We'll splash some paint on it, it'll be better than new. So here we go. So the deck is on and greased, new belts, sharpened the blades, new oil filter, oil, new spark plugs, hydrostatic filter, hydraulic oil filter, air filters were clean, every pivot point is greased, and it fires up way better now. Doesn't cough and spit and smoke anymore, so that's much better. I got a leaky tire to fix in the morning, and we'll wash the last of the oil off because it's kind of makes a mess when you drain the oil in the front. I got just enough clearance on my piston here to clear my oil filter there. Pretty happy with it. We'll cut some grass in the morning, make sure that the belt doesn't fly off and everything is 100%, and then we can drop this one off again. So nice quick little job. It's got to be done. Here we go. Right here we have a Ventrac 4100. This one's a 25 horsepower gas, twin engine, hydrostatic. They also come in a diesel. If you have a turkey barn or a chicken barn or any barn for cleaning, these are the machines to have. They're an industrial machine in every sense of the word. They're extremely heavy, reliable, and some really neat features and a few quirky things about them. First off, it's true all-wheel drive with articulating in the center, which works really nice. It's easy to get on and off of, easy controls. But one thing I don't like is this handle right here. It hits me in the knee. I'm a tall guy, but it is kind of in the way. When you're turning, it sometimes bangs into your knee, and if you're running it for a long period of time, that can get really irritating. It has a cup holder, but there's really no need for it because one hand on the wheel and one hand on your controls to go forward and back and to run your hydraulics and your auxiliaries. Because they are an industrial machine, everything to do with it is expensive, but if you're using it as an industrial machine, it's well worth the money. The amount of attachments on the front of this is pretty well endless. If you can imagine it, they make it for it. The deck comes on and off in about 3 minutes. Everything is greasable on it. It's a very well serviceable machine. Now, one of the flaws that we had on this one was the arm that lifts the front attachment up and down is too skinny. The arms break off here. Don't buy the new arm, just cut it off and weld heavier plates on it. If you can't do it, pay somebody to do it. That was a flaw on this one that we weren't really thrilled about. It broke a couple times. Other than that, if my memory serves me right, this machine actually cleans turkey barns, and it goes through a hole in the different levels of the floor, three-story barn, and it actually fell off the third floor, landed upside down on the second floor, and then fell through the hole and landed on the first floor. And the only thing that broke was the seat. So I think there was one linkage that broke somewhere. So they can take a beating, and I highly recommend these machines for anything else. With the deck being able to go up and down, even when you're cutting some heavier brush, you can put the deck up and kind of drop it down as you're coming down. You have excellent visibility. You can turn just about everywhere. The only downside is because it is so heavy, it does get stuck earlier than you would like. But very well worth it. Nice machine. Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon. There's a lot of stuff happening there to help support the channel. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.